Solar integrated roofing is in one of the hottest businesses right now, and that is renewable energy. Now, the company has grown from operating in Southern California to having a nationwide presence with $19 million in sales in July. So with me is Clymer and Pablo Diaz from Solar Integrated Roofing. Great to have you guys at the NASDAQ. Welcome.
Thank you for having us. And
super excited.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Good to be here with you, and come to find out we're both Hoosiers.
We are, yes. We did a little.
I'm the outcast.
I know.
Arizona guy over here.
Arizona, that's a great place too, and lots of solar going on there, by the way. So we'll get to that.
Let me tell you.
So now I've been following you guys for a couple of years. I know your CEO, Dave Massey. I mean, it feels like the past year has been a huge growth area for you guys. Can you kind of talk about that a little bit?
Well, it's been quite exciting, and I'm here with Pablo Diaz, and he's the CEO of our most recent acquisition, USA Solar Networks. And I came to Solar Integrated Roofing Corporation from Balance Authority LLC, so one of the largest third-party administrators for contractors in the space. So we're two of 14 acquisitions, I believe, that have gone down just around in the last year. So it's been very exciting.
Absolutely, absolutely. And for myself, as I look back at the trajectory of my career, been doing this for 24 years now. That's how old I am, and my spaces have been finance, construction, alternative energy, and it just kind of seems like divine intervention has built me into this perfect position role that I'm in right now, because at Solar Integrated Roofing, they've built a platform and an ecosystem that really allows us to just expand our footprint, and we build off each other, which we're going to get into in a little bit, but it's a real dynamic place that we're lucky to be aboard.
So talk about those acquisitions. I mean, what did it allow Solar Integrated to do? I know you've expanded to different geographical regions, but what are how does it all fit together for kind of the big plan?
Well, the growth through the accretive value of the acquisitions is one thing, but when you look at the recent acquisition list, USA Solar Network, Future Home Power, Balance, Cornerstone, Enerev, and on down the list through our subsidiaries, we're really focused on organic growth now. So, Pablo touched on it just a little bit, but the blending of all of the amazing talent that we have and moving through getting the right people in the right seats as we integrate and blend, especially in our solar division right now. I mean, to talk about blending our national dealer network with our vertical retail model that we've been so successful in California, and the mixing of those into one, I kind of like to use analogies, transmission, that catapults our ability to serve not only the retail, but the retail commercial and residential clients, but also to work with contractors who are wanting to bring solar into their business. And really, if you look at our organization as becoming a national kind of green energy company that's bringing together roofing and solar and EV and battery charging, it's quite exciting. I mean, Pablo and I were together in San Diego last week visiting several of our subsidiaries out there, and it's just super cool to see it all come together.
If I could add to that, that's a great way to share it, Troy. Just think about this ecosystem where you have all these different vertical businesses, but each one has its own business model. And what happens is you have, let's just say, Plemco,
Pacific Lighting and Energy Management.
Okay.
It's an EV and battery storage and battery charging kind of green energy company that we own that does infrastructure installs and
EV stations, a lot for the federal contracts. But what they've been trying to push on as an example is the commercial enterprise. Well, our other business model, we're here under one of our subsidiaries. That's all we do is structure capital for these type of solutions. So this model with this model, now we create a new revenue stream. On the other side, our solar division that works in the solar field. But when you combine it with the roofing context that SIRC has, well, now you combine the two and it becomes into one unit, so they both can use the same subsidiaries that solar has to use, another revenue stream. So it's the verticals and new revenue streams that are compounded by combining the different business units. So it creates a real dynamic, solution-based environment.
Well, and it feels like this is such a hot area and it's growing so quickly that almost feels like you have to do a lot of these acquisitions to really kind of, stake your claim in the industry and grow. You got to take advantage of that fast growth.
Well, in bringing together these different business models, one of the joys that Pablo and I have right now is we're working through combining everything, not just the business models, but you're talking about the accounting, the treasury, the leadership. Right, and Pablo mentioned just the synergy between Plumco and the capital structuring side of USA Solar Networks, but that's across the board at our different organizations. We're talking about backwashing our solar prowess over our roofing organizations and vice versa. So we're entering this phase of tremendous growth right now, and I know we're going to get into it a little bit more. But you mentioned coming in, just the revenue growth of the last few years. 2 years ago, 9.1 million. We just put out our annual report for fiscal year 21, 17.1 million.
Yeah.
We're expecting 100 million plus for fiscal year 2022. We're in the last week of our quarter right now, and we're doing as much in a month almost now in revenue as we did in revenue last year.
Okay.
And that's just in terms of the accretive revenue growth. And we haven't even really unleashed the optimization of the blending of all these business models and what that's going to do for our organic revenue growth. It's very exciting.
So let's talk, you mentioned the accounting. So let's talk about that for a second. So I know there was like an audit that you've been working on for a while. Where does that stand?
Well, there's a lot of those going on, right? So we are just moving through the audit of SIRC. So we're in the position right now where we're in the process of uplisting from OTCPINK to OTCQB on our way to NASDAQ, right? Would be our next move. So we're excited to be here today at NASDAQ. But it's in terms of accounting, we've got to get SIRC audited. I'll be in San Diego the week of the 13th working with the auditors and our CFO on that. Our goal is to get that done as efficiently as possible and then execute the uplist to OTCQB. And then it's even more audits.
Yeah.
And then it's all the subsidiaries and the Form 10 and our approach to NASDAQ.
Well, what that does allow us is consolidation.
Yeah.
Right?
Okay.
We have a lot of moving parts, so we've invested heavily, and now it's time to consolidate these different vertical businesses that we have. But in that, we find new opportunities, and I really keep coming back to this because it's a place where organic growth is just spiraling into a huge trajectory. As an example, we've created a roofing to solar traveling convention where we're going to train roofing companies, and they have 1,000 relationships literally that they work with, a new revenue stream. And that's how to get into alternative energy, get into solar, sell solar. It's a simple task for them because they already have that infrastructure, and they become part of this new alternative energy wave. For us, our performance on production and just economics on it are extremely compelling.
And these are conservative.
Conservative.
I should say. So as we're seeing this consolidation, it's giving birth to new business models out of it, and that's why we did this roll up. And there's so much synergy going on right now across solar and roofing and green energy, and it's been quite exciting to be involved in the convergence of it in our space. And I think it's going to be a joy to see the new business models emerge, because it's 1 + 1 = 99 in terms of what's happening. And Pablo touched on our most recent joint venture. We just did a press release on that. We're bringing USA Solar Networks together with our organic kind of vertical solar retail model historically that SIRC has had in California, and it's given birth to a whole new way to go to market.
It has.
And so we're bringing the resources in from the relationships that we have on the insurance restoration and roofing side at the company that I was the CEO of before we were acquired, and I became the COO of SIRC, Balance LLC. So we have the best coaching company in Contractor Coach Pro, the best media company in the space at American Contractor, and then putting them together with Pablo's team at USA Solar Network to create a solar jumpstart program where contractors coast to coast who are interested in bringing solar into their business can get involved in our dealership model. I mean, I don't want to get too far into the numbers, but our pro forma is calling for something like $300 million
24 months.
in 24 months of new revenue to SIRC. So bolt that on to the numbers we're already talking about.
Thank you so much, Pablo and Troy.
Thank
Very
you.
interesting to hear about this industry because it feels like it's the future.
It definitely is.
Yeah.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And thank you as well. We'll be right back.
Secure, the true solution for your digital privacy and security. Secure is a private and secure messaging and email solution hosted in Switzerland, using proprietary military-grade encryption and Swiss privacy laws, giving you true privacy. Secure doesn't collect or sell your data and doesn't require your phone number or any personal data that hackers target. You can message and email non-secure users privately without the need for others to download Secure. Visit secure.com. Regain and protect your privacy today.
Secure is a product from GlobeX Data that has a different way of approaching cybersecurity. And with me is the CEO, Alain Ghiai, to explain Secure and GlobeX Data. Welcome, Alain. Great to see you again.
Great to see you, Jane. Thanks for having me, and hello to our viewer out there.
Yes, so let's just start with Secure. Tell me the company, GlobeX Data, the product. Give me an overview, and then we'll dig a little deeper.
Sure, gladly. So GlobeX Data was started in Switzerland in 2007, myself being a Swiss citizen as well. Essentially, it's a company that was created to put together secure communication solutions such as Secure and then Secure Suite, which is our document management solution. In 2019, we spun off a division in Canada, and we had one in 2012 in the US called GlobeX Data Inc. And in 2019, we had GlobeX Data Ltd, which is our present public company. We did a very tiny IPO in the market in Canada in the microcap. And then we got listed on the OTCQB in October of 2019 under ticker SWISF. So we are a public company financed by basically the public and the IPO that we had and a few of these rounds that we had until now. So that's pretty much what we do with secure communication, such as email, messenger, even voice, etc.
Okay, so that's what I was going to ask. Like, what are all the suite of products that you have with Secure? So do you want to expand
Sorry. Third time's a charm. So sorry. I was long-winded because now I'll get my mojo. Sorry.
Okay, all right. Are we starting over?
Yes, sorry about that.
All right.
It'll be quick. You'll see. I'll be short.
Let me, when I send it to him, let me just tell him that we're okay. Okay. All right, here we go. Okay, 5, 4, 3. GlobeX Data is a company that makes the secure products, and these are products that have a unique approach to cybersecurity. And with me is the CEO, Alain Ghiai, to explain GlobeX, also Secure. Welcome, Alain. Great to see you again.
Thank you, Jane. Great being here and having me.
So let's start with the 30,000-foot view. Tell me about the company, the products, and then we'll dig a little deeper in exactly what you're trying to do.
Sure. So GlobeX Data SA is a private Swiss company started by myself. I'm the largest shareholder of that company, myself being a Swiss citizen as well. We started in 2007, 2008, and started to create a product which now is essentially called Secure Suite. It's a document management tool. It has an email. The data is all hosted in Switzerland. We use proprietary technology, and we don't use any big tech platform, which is a huge thing. In 2012, we spun off a US division, GlobeX Data Inc. We even had Comcast as clients who were on their first cloud platform. And in 2019, we created our Canadian division, which essentially did a microcap IPO in July 2019. And in October 2019, we got listed on the OTCQB under ticker SWISF, SWISF. So this is kind of the general picture of the company. Management has a 35% ownership, which is a very large ownership for a public company. So we definitely have the interests of all shareholders at hand.
Okay. And then we're focusing on the secure product today, the suite of products. Go into a little bit more depth about what all you offer with Secure.
So Secure, spelled SEKUR, is a solution that offers secure communication. We have a Secure, which is an email and messenger. We have Secure Messenger, which is just a messaging app. And we're also launching Secure Voice at the end of this year, 2021, and Secure Pro in Q1 of 22, which will be a replacement to Zoom. So what's what's very particular about what we do is the following. First of all, we use proprietary technologies. We don't use open source coding. That is huge because 99% of the software uses open source coding, and it has now reached its limit of advantages because hackers are getting into those right now. We also store our data only in Switzerland. So that's also nice because Switzerland has the highest data privacy laws in the world, the strictest. And we also do not host anything on big tech platform. We have our own. So we also protect our users from any kind of intrusive laws. So that's critical. So Secure is only $10 a month. You get a nice email, 100 gigabyte of storage. You can also email and message non-secure user, guaranteeing you and the recipient a round-trip communication in full privacy. The difference in what we do is that we communicate throughout our secure server environment in Switzerland, as opposed to sending information back and forth over the internet. So we don't have business email compromise, we don't have man-in-the-middle attack, and these kind of hacks that you read about every day all over.
Every day. And that's a key thing, is that you can use a secure product, but the person you're communicating with does not need to have it in order for you to communicate and for it to be secure. Correct.
Absolutely. I'm going to give you an example. I'm going to communicate with my stockbroker, for example, and I need them to wire money in my bank account. Typically, a person would email, even if they have the best email in their office. When the email leaves their server, it becomes unprotected. And this is how hackers can get in. They read and scan the documents, they read everything, and now they have your bank account information, and they can even go in and take money out. There's been many articles published about bank accounts being emptied by hackers. Whereas with us, we use our technology called Secure Send. My broker can open it, and then they can secure reply. And the whole thing happens only within our secure Swiss environment. So, and they don't need to have the application at all. And we do the same with instant messaging, where we basically send a message to someone via an email, and then they click and they chat with us directly. It opens this closed loop pipeline.
Okay. Well, this is certainly an important and growing industry as we go forward with more digitization of the world. So thank you so much, Alain, for coming and explaining Secure and GlobeX data.
You're welcome. It's all digital, and we never data mine you. That's important to know.
Thank you.
Enjoy the benefits of the world's first patented time-release hemp-based CBD topical cream. Hourglass has achieved increased topical bioavailability of cannabinoids that slowly release our CBD over an extended period of time. Hourglass is 99% CBD, THC-free, and lab-tested, and verified by scanning our QR codes. Visit hourglassonlinestore.com.
Kylin is doing some interesting things with data in the blockchain. And we've had them here before, but let's get an update because I know what you're doing is important and but kind of complicated too. So we've got with us here Dewdney, the Chief Stratosphere Officer, and also Sam Elliman, the CEO, new CEO, correct, Sam? Yeah. So great. Congratulations on that. So we hear a lot about finance, blockchain all the time. I mean, what is special about data and blockchain that you're working on?
Yeah, so and really we believe the tip of the iceberg is the financial use case. So this sort of hard, asset play, if you will, of cryptocurrency. DeFi is sort of a derivative aspect of that, where you're getting these, traditional legacy financial instruments echoed, in a decentralized way. But we believe the next evolution is going to be data oriented. All these different use cases above and beyond this financial use case, or blockchain just powering a sort of limited aspect, if you will, of humanity and human society. You can make the analogy of, could you make the email is a very important aspect of the internet, right? but it certainly isn't the internet. And some aspects of a blockchain, but it isn't just where blockchain stops. In fact, there's going to be an enormous evolution of blockchain-enabled applications, and that has a lot to do with, generic data, right? Orientation to blockchain. And that's kind of like the simple answer to it from my perspective.
Mm-hmm. And Sam, I know you guys are working in heavy development on a lot of programs and platforms and things like that. I mean, what are you building? How much can you tell me?
Yeah, well, what we're trying to do really is build a distributed data warehouse. Now, coming from a traditional business, really, you realize how much you value your story. Every single business has value in its data. And for them to really understand their customers, they have to understand their data. So what we're trying to do is, instead of having all these data warehouses built in silo, we're trying to make it distributed so everyone can get access to it. Everyone can really monetize their data. You don't have to go to a specific place. You don't have to go to your Googles. You don't have to go to a specific data store. You can query it from anywhere. And you can query or ask for this data wherever you are and just literally monetize it. You can say, look, I have this data set. I think it's valuable to the data store.
The essential core aspect of this that you have to unpack is custody and custody of data. And that's true also for the financial use case, right? So we're used to having, just to make these and DeFi and the financial aspect of blockchain, we're used to having banks having the custody of our money, right? And now we have the keys held because we have our private keys, and it's like if you put money under your mattress. We're back to that, except in a much higher technological way through blockchain. Okay, same idea with data. So is that while data is custodied by centralized companies and projects like Google, Amazon, Facebook, et cetera, right? We're seeing the start of the revolution or renaissance or movement of data being similar to the money, being back in a P2P relationship between individuals or between projects. It doesn't matter. It's just not going through this centralized filter or bottleneck of corporations or centralized servers anymore.
Well, thank you so much, Sam and Dylan. Always interesting to hear what you guys are working on. I always feel like I'm looking into the future whenever I talk to you guys.
The background.
Need hearing aids? Tired of paying $5,000 or more? Tired of making multiple trips to have your hearing aids adjusted? Now you don't have to. Our HearIQ 4 medical-grade hearing aids are fully rechargeable, Bluetooth compatible, and start at under $1,000 for a complete set or monthly payments of $44. Our hearing aids are self-adjusting using any smartphone and features remote programming by hearing care professionals without you ever leaving home. Order your pair today at myheariq.com.
Beatify is a decentralized music streaming service that helps artists generate the revenue from their own works, and probably, as founder Darryl Hillock would say, the revenue that they deserve, right? So welcome, Darryl. Good to meet you.
Thanks, Jane. Good to meet you, too.
So let's just start with overall. What is Beatify?
Sure. Beatify is a fair trade music streaming platform. So it's very similar to Spotify, except we pay musicians better. So what we've done is we've taken kind of that Spotify model of streaming music that people are familiar with, and we've decentralized it. So we've created it on a smart contract, and we put it on the blockchain, and we've made it more efficient for people to use, and we've made it more efficient for musicians to use, so they get paid more money for their streams. Okay,
so more money, more efficient. Are any other reasons why musicians should look at you as another distribution forum for them? platform?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, aside from getting paid, 5 times more than the current legacy system, there's lots of reasons. I mean, it's more fun. It's more interactive. They can engage their fans in more creative ways. We really are focused on fair trade. So this pays people more than the legacy system in the United States, but it's also going to pay people more around the world. So we get people from Africa, we get people from Myanmar and Vietnam and all sorts of different countries, and it actually enriches those people as well, right?
Oh, interesting. And kind of a world global music kind of tone to it too. So now, how do you make money? Because you're giving them more. What's your business model?
Yeah, great question. So similar to the legacy streaming models, we have a subscription-based revenue program. So we get a lot of money from our advertising and as well from subscriptions. But like a lot of blockchain projects in the crypto sphere, a lot of it is holdings, like token holdings. So that's also a great way that artists and fans can generate revenue, and as well as the company generates revenue that way.
Okay, so interesting. So you brought up the token. So it's called the song token.
Yes, ma'am.
Right. So how does that work? So let's say I'm a musician, which you definitely not. Music lover and appreciator, but definitely not a creator. How would a musician benefit from that? How do they get the token? How does all that work?
Yeah, sure. I mean, musicians get the token by going to Beatify.audio and signing up and uploading their music, and then just encouraging their fans to go and listen. So each listen is worth 1 token. And from there, they can stack their tokens, they can stake them, they can just hold them, they can do all sorts of things. They can sell them. They're available for purchase on SushiSwap or on coinsbit.io. So there's lots of different ways that people can acquire the tokens. For musicians, it's really for streaming. So for you and I, Jane, when we go to the platform and we listen to musicians, right away, the player will pay them every 30 seconds, actually, it'll pay them a percentage of a token.
Interesting. Okay, so every 30 seconds that somebody listens, they get an additional percentage of a token, I guess. So now you have grown rather fast. So tell me about your growth rate and how did that happen?
Yeah, it's an easy sell, to be honest with you. When musicians hear they get paid more than the legacy streaming services, they come right over and they bring their fans too. So I mean, it's a great way to do it. We've really automated the process of royalty payments and streamlined it. And we've removed all these middlemen there. So they get paid much, much more. The artist gets paid much, much more. So in that way, it's been an easy sell. It's grown. I mean, it's grown very, very fast in the last 6 months for us. And it's an easy sell, quite frankly, Jane.
Yeah. Well, that's interesting because I know people in New York, bands that have had 30, 40,000 downloads, and there may be 4 or 5 band members. And by the time, there's downloads on Spotify and they divide it between everybody, they're making like $10. I mean, it's crazy, like how little.
Yeah, so it takes 650,000 monthly listeners on a legacy system to make minimum wage in the U.S.
Wow. Okay, that puts it in perspective because I knew and these guys are popular and have a lot of downloads and they still were making nothing. So, okay, how can a musician reach you?
Yeah, I mean, if they go to Beatify.audio, they can actually go and try the web app and upload their music and try it out. Everybody can go to BeatifyAudio.com and find us there. It's a great resource. The website's fantastic. I work with a fantastic team here in Toronto called Blockchain Mind, and they are helping us develop that as well.
You have a background in music, correct?
Yes, I do. Yes.
Tell me about that.
Yeah, sure. I graduated from a school here called Harris Institute for the Arts, and in Canada, in Toronto, that's known as Rock and Roll University. So I went there for my term, and I came out and I worked with a famous producer called Nick Blagona. So Nick Blagona, he recorded everybody. He did Anne Murray, he did The Tea Party, he did parts of The Wall. He recorded everybody. So I worked with him for years, and then I owned a large music studio and school here in Toronto for years. And then in 2018, I was looking for a new challenge, and I was looking for a way to scale music streaming and to kind of change the way that the business is working, right? Like when I got into the music business was the same year that Napster was released, and studio revenues plummeted. Like they dropped through the floor. And since then, we've all been looking for a way to kind of get back. So it was just my way of encouraging musicians to try something new and take back what's theirs, quite frankly, their intellectual property. Right?
Absolutely. It's their creation. So, and interesting that blockchain is letting you do that. So we get
absolutely. Yeah, actually, I'd like to add another thing, Jane, is, the decentralized nature of what we're doing allows for freedom of speech as well, right? So in legacy systems, what happens is it's very common for artists to be deplatformed or to have their freedom of speech limited. And for us, we're not about that life. We're really about decentralizing the platform so that musicians across the world can speak freely and continue to have freedom of expression and freedom of thought. We're really about that in this company.
Thank you so much, Darryl. So interesting to hear about Beatify. Good luck.
Thank you so much.
Need hearing aids? Tired of paying $5,000 or more? Tired of making multiple trips to have your hearing aids adjusted? Now you don't have to. Our Hear IQ 4 medical grade hearing aids are fully rechargeable, Bluetooth compatible, and start at under $1,000 for a complete set or monthly payments of $44. Our hearing aids are self-adjusting using any smartphone and features remote programming by hearing care professionals without you ever leaving home. Order your pair today at myheariq.com.
Blackbird Biotech has various biotech products, including Mite Extreme, which is a plant-based pesticide for spider mites. So with me, CEO Fabian Deneault to explain more about this. And Fabian, I remember last time you were talking about uplisting the stock to the OTC market. Explain where that stands.
Well, the OTC market contacted us last week to let us know that even though it's been a couple of months that we've been in review process, we're still in the review process. Expect resolution to that any day now.
Okay. And then you were also talking about starting sales numbers for Mite Extreme. Has that process started yet?
It has. We had some supply chain issues. Those have been resolved. We've been able to start blending. We've had our first sales here this month, and we continue to build our marketing database, and we're getting a lot of feedback because we have the only food grade plant-based biopesticide on the market. So it's very exciting. And sales have started here in Montana. I had some in Nevada as well. So we're starting to see that where we're registered, the sales are picking up.
Yeah, well, that's certainly a unique concept, is the plant-based pesticide. So now, what are you looking for funding to help with that marketing and the sales efforts with Mite Extreme?
Yeah, we just filed a reggae offering last week. I also learned last week that we'll be able to start taking subscriptions in that offering at the end of this week. We're expecting to raise between $1 and $2 million, all of that, or most of that, which will be used to build our Mite Extreme sales. We've been talking to a couple possible national sales managers. We want to bring on somebody who's very strong in that market to lead us there. So we're very excited about that, and it all seems to be coming together well.
Nice. So now what about state qualification for the pesticide? Like, I know the EPA, there's a lot of different levels of regulation. How are you navigating all that? Where does that stand?
So once you get EPA approval, then you have to register each of the states now with their state EPAs. With that, some of them actually have listings for specific crops such as cannabis. So right now we're registered in 7 states: Colorado, Washington, Oregon. We're also being permitted for use in the cannabis. Nevada, Montana, Oklahoma, we're on their list. We continue to put applications in. We have another 12 applications that are pending in 12 states, and we'll be submitting for the rest of the nation here and Washington, D.C. as well over the next week and a half or so.
Mm-hmm. And then what about the update on the testing that was done on the Botanical Research in Motion in Vancouver?
I'm happy you asked about that. The testing results are off the charts. things we didn't expect, we knew but hadn't verified. That testing has gone very well. We're waiting for that whole report to be put together by the end of this month, and it's going to be some groundbreaking information that's going to be out there.
Wow, so that could really be a pivotal report in terms of where you go from here.
Yes, I think it will. We did a lot of testing up there in Canada right now on hemp. We're doing testing in other places on vegetables, but with the ability for Mite Extreme not only to kill mites, but works on other insects and molds and mildews. We've seen things that I was slightly aware of when I developed it, but am blown away with the actual lab results.
Interesting. And then there was also some testing in Israel too. What is that, and what's the status of that?
We're testing with a large ag chemical company in agriculture up there, mainly on eggplants and cucumber crops. That's ongoing right now. No indication as of early results at this point. Final results are expected when they harvest, and that'll be towards the end of October. But we're expecting to see the same incredible results there.
Okay. You could have a very crucial few months ahead of you here. Very exciting. So
yes, it is.
Well, thank you so much, Fabian, for coming by with an update.
Jane, thank you, and you have a wonderful day.
You too. PetProducts.com. Thousands of products. An Al Simon Wee Wee Pad Inventor Company. Cosmos is a crypto project similar to Ethereum with interoperability. And so with me to explain exactly what Cosmos is and what all that means, Ben Armstrong, and then also Peng Zong to explain this. So Ben, let's start with you. So you support the Cosmos project. Talk about what it is. What do you like about it?
Yeah, so I've always been a big proponent ever since I got into crypto and altcoins of smart contract platforms. I believe they're the future. I believe they got way more potential than Bitcoin ever dreamed of having. Much more functional. They serve purposes other than just being digital gold or currency. And so when I started looking into a lot of these projects early on, obviously Ethereum and then Tron and EOS were some of the bigger ones early on that seemed to be doing okay. But they still kept running into all of these different issues. And so we had kind of a new generation of, smart contract platform that started raising up. And one of those is Cosmos. And the focus of Cosmos, like you mentioned, is interoperability. So the idea is a huge problem in crypto is getting blockchains to work together. So like if I went on Uniswap, which is a decentralized exchange, ran on the Ethereum blockchain, I can't directly go and get assets that are on other chains. There are some workarounds like wrapped assets, synthetic versions of assets. But for actually trading an Ethereum-based asset versus, another kind of asset, you can't do it because they're not interoperable. The chains, they kind of just run, parallel to each other instead of perpendicular. And so Cosmos is set out to solve this problem. Of course, Tendermint, the company, the infrastructure lying beneath Cosmos, they've set out to solve this problem. And so far, they're doing a really good job. For a long time, I've said I think Cosmos is definitely one of the most underrated projects in all of crypto. Even though it does stay consistently in the top 50, I think it can go much higher because of, like I said, the problem they're trying to solve is what many people would believe the biggest problem in crypto.
They're interesting. I've never thought about that, making the blockchains work together. So, I mean, I guess at some point that will have to happen as blockchain and this whole industry grows. So, okay. So Peng, now, so you are CEO of Tendermint, and explain its relationship to Cosmos, and then talk a little bit about decentralization and explain why that matters.
Yeah, happy to chat about it. So Tendermint is a core company building Cosmos core infrastructure. Like Ben said, we do a lot of development that is required, to make sure blockchains can interoperate between each other. But Cosmos is a very decentralized entity, right? So while I'm the CEO of Tendermint, there are roughly 15 other core companies all building Cosmos tech. And that really is the strength of the ecosystem. So decentralized finance, right, is something that is on the tip of everyone's tongues today, especially in Ethereum. And it's always marketed as sort of this way to democratize access, to finance for everyone around the world, right? You don't have to go through, any sort of centralized intermediaries to transfer money or to get loans or, to make swaps or to trade assets. And, Ethereum has really brought that promise to life, I would say. But one of the biggest problems with Ethereum is the very high transaction costs, right? So as democratic as it is, you still need quite a big chunk of change to start getting into crypto and Ethereum, right? It's been said today that, if you have under $1,000 worth of assets that you want to start trading on the Ethereum platform with an exchange like Uniswap, you might not want to do it just because it can cost upwards of hundreds of dollars in fees just to make one swap. At which point, you don't have a much smaller,
sure
number of assets.
Those gas fees can be very detrimental. So, Punk, tell me a little bit more about Gravity DEX, I guess, decentralized exchange, I'm assuming, and Ameris. What are those? Who are those available to?
Yeah, so GravityDex and Ameris are both products of Tendermint. GravityDex is an open source trading protocol similar to Uniswap, but its one major defining difference is that it's multi-chain from the beginning, right? So in Cosmos, every chain generally only has one token, as opposed to Ethereum, which has many tokens due to smart contracts. But the cool thing about Cosmos is every chain that's built can send tokens back and forth between each other, right? So what we mentioned before, the high transaction fees on Ethereum are caused by congestion, right? It's as if everyone was on the same Google spreadsheet together trying to edit every cell at the same time. You're going to run into congestion problems. You're going to have limited numbers of people. And if you don't pay enough, your transactions might never happen. So in Cosmos, we care a lot about scalability. And we think that, application-specific blockchains, one chain that does one thing is the way to go. And GravityDex allows you to trade assets between all of these chains together.
Okay. And then Ben, talk about your take on Cosmos. Clearly you're a supporter. I mean, and how that plays in the whole DeFi kind of ecosystem.
Right. So I would say, Cosmos and the Cosmos ecosystem is the next generation for DeFi. Cosmos is meant to bridge all chains together, right? So we mentioned Ethereum in the past, and Ethereum is going to be, a very strong contender. That's the biggest ecosystem today in DeFi. But Cosmos will allow you to bridge to Ethereum. It'll also allow you to bridge other, very big ecosystems today, ones that are, trending today, like Solana, Polkadot, Avalanche. Cosmos is meant to bridge them all together.
Interesting. And I just heard of Avalanche for the first time recently. So Ben, do you want to expand on that?
Yeah, definitely. I think when it comes to decentralized finance, this is the biggest opportunity in crypto, not just from the investor standpoint, but also from the project standpoint. And when you look at the different crypto projects and what they're trying to achieve, and you factor in the interoperability of Cosmos, let's just take the DEXs, for instance. So the example I was using earlier, like if you go use Uniswap on Ethereum, you can't, move project or crypto investments between different chains. Well, with something like Cosmos, when it is fully interoperable and all the chains are connected to it, think about the potential of how much more volume can be traded when you have so many more different options for what you can actually go back and forth between. You're not limited by the chains. So what, Cosmos and Tendermint has done with the Gravity bridge between Ethereum and Atom, which is the ticker symbol for Cosmos. This is, to me, really phase one of Cosmos really making waves in DeFi. And speaking about the scalability and the congestion problems of Ethereum, as Peng was earlier, the thing is, transaction fees on Cosmos right now are anywhere from 1 cent to 10 cent. On Ethereum, I personally paid $300 or $400, in between $300 and $400 for one transaction. Yeah. And even then, that transaction is not guaranteed to go through.
Thank you, guys. So interesting. Best of luck.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Jane.
All right, I'm Anna Berry with New to the Street, brought to you by Secure. This is your Secure segment, and this is your weekly hack. Joining us is Alain Ghiai with GlobeX Data, the leader in SWIS-hosted private and secure communications and data management. Okay, Alain, now we're talking about photos, sharing photos. A lot of people love to do it, but it's all fun and games until someone gets hacked, right?
That's right, Anna. So thanks for everyone for watching. So, a lot of people love to share photos and images. We spend our life on social media with some people. I've quit that 7 years ago. And what happens is when you share a photo, usually people use WhatsApp. It's the most ubiquitous messenger in the world. Essentially, two things happen. First of all, when you share an image with someone else, that image that you receive on your phone is also recorded on the device. So this latest craze now with the hackers is essentially a lot of people use photo filtering to look good or to have special effects on a sunset or what have you. And that creates a bug, and a hacker can get in through those photo filtering system and essentially steal not just a photo, but obviously everything that's on your phone. There were reports of crashes on WhatsApp, but the big problem is that everybody knows people use WhatsApp. So if you have a phone number, and there was some breaches of privacy on Facebook lately that we'll discuss. If you have a phone number, anybody can go and try to hack it because they're going to assume that you have WhatsApp. And the problem is that when you send images back and forth in WhatsApp and most other applications, those photos, those media images are being stored on the phone as well. Like if I get an image, a joke from someone or a photo of their, wedding or something, it's going to be on my phone even after I delete from the so-called WhatsApp, delete for me, delete for everyone. And that's a problem. So that's a critical issue.
And let's reiterate this too, because I remember getting some new filters and everyone's doing it. And then you think, oh, well, I want to join in too. But that is extremely dangerous when you start altering your face, right? And you're using these apps. Again, why is that a no-no?
Well, first of all, using these filters now triggers a hack. That's number one. Number two, I always say now, reduce carbon footprint, also reduce social media footprint. Imagine if, malicious people would have your photo. They take your photo, they can basically Photoshop or do whatever they want, create identities papers. They can commit a crime in your name with your photo on it. They can do a lot of stuff, right? And now with the biometrics and the face recognition software, once they have your photo, they can create a fake ID with your name and everything on it. Because, on Facebook, we have our life. On the phone, you have your addresses. So they can basically get your photo, your name, your date of birth, you name it, and create fake IDs and commit crime in your name. So it goes very deep. This fun thing of sending a photo and sharing it, I'm not saying don't share photos, but use it with an application that's secure.
Talk to us about why Secure Messenger is different when it comes to photo sharing.
Sure. So talking about secure and security. So what Secure does is when you share what we call a media, which typically is a photo or a PDF or something, what we do is we don't store it on the phone. And that has to do with how we don't require your phone number. So when you use another application and you send a photo to someone, that recipient will have automatically that photo stored on their phone forever until they delete it. And that creates the hacking problems. Whereas when you use Secure, we have this buffer and we never pull the photo down to the phone. So if I send you a photo and you see it, and then let's say you delete it because we have a self-destruct timer that wipes out completely even in our server, that photo will not be on your phone. It wouldn't have pulled it automatically without your knowledge. It's just a very common thing, and we don't realize it. So I would recommend using Secure Messenger if you absolutely want to send media back and forth. At the very least, nobody knows you have it because we don't ask for phone numbers to sign up, and also we don't pull the media on your device.
Good to know. Talk a little bit about updating apps. Why is it really important to do so?
So updating apps and even operating systems is important because there's always new threat, cyber threat, all sorts of things that come. And a lot of these companies, they try to basically, find a solution and fix it. And you need to have the latest software available in whatever system that you use, because they would have gone through those bug fixings and whatnot. So I always update, I use an Android, so I always update whenever the Samsung tells me to update. I use applications and always update to the latest version because it adds extra layers of security. If you have an old version of an application, the danger of being hacked and being compromised is a lot greater than if you updated it. It's the same with computers, right? We talk a lot about mobile phone now, but we should talk about computers. If you have an old version of Microsoft or Outlook that hasn't been updated and there's been so many threats on it and hacks, and Microsoft fixed it, you want to have the latest version. And by the way, if you're a business and you're watching this, every hack on average cost businesses $3.7 million per intrusion, according to IBM. So the costs are enormous for something that's really easy to do.
Well, so our takeaways: buyer beware, but it's really poster beware. If you're going to post it, beware, because it's all fun and games until you get hacked. So reconsider posting photos, reconsider the filters, and always update your apps, right?
Definitely. Poster beware. Whatever you post on WhatsApp, consider that it's public domain. So be very careful about what you post. By the way, WhatsApp just got fined $250 million US by the Irish government for breach of data privacy in the European Union. So that's quite a lot. So even without hacking, just the privacy alone, they breach privacy all the time. And $250 million is really nothing for Facebook. So be aware, be careful, think twice, and reduce your social media footprint if you can. And of course, update your software at all times.
I'm taking this advice with me as well. And I appreciate this technology. I appreciate this information. And it's always great speaking with you, Alain. And I look forward to more. Thank you for joining us on New to the Street.
Thank you, Anna. See you all next week.
PetProducts.com. Thousands of products. An Al Simon Wee Wee Pad Inventor Company. The last time we talked to American Premium Water, they had announced this exciting sponsorship of AVP Volleyball, and now they are there. So great to have you guys in Chicago. CEO Ryan Fischoff and the COO David Howell. First of all, set the stage for me. I know you're somewhere because I hear the PA system. Explain where you are and what's going on.
Sure. So we're at the AVP Chicago Open in Oak Beach on the pier in Chicago, and we're having a great time. We have a sponsorship tent. Clymer is the official CBD sponsor of the AVP, and we're really excited. And we're as we're about to roll out our product. I know we just announced this week that our CBD product is now available for pre-order on ClymerLife.com. So this is another step in our overall retail launch strategy. There'll be a full launch later this month, early October. So we're very, very excited.
So talk to me a little bit about the actual product and why is it a good fit with AVP?
Sure. So I actually have some product right here. This is one of our tinctures, our CBD tinctures. And you mentioned why it's a good fit with the AVP. We also have CBD lip balm right here. And obviously the beach, being out on the beach, this is a great product for not just volleyball players, but anyone enjoying a day on the beach or a day outside, active lifestyle. And that's really what we think is a great aspect of the CBD, the Clymer brand, is that it's an active lifestyle that invokes the beach, active sports, not just volleyball. Volleyball encompasses a lot of that, but there's other sports too. So we're very excited, and that's why AVP is a great partner for us. They help with get the message out about the benefits of CBD. The players can talk about how CBD is part of their regimens for training as well as recovery while they play. So we're very, very excited.
And if I may interject, our pain cream is very, very, like, it's a number one here. The reason why we don't have it is we're waiting for our second shipment because it's already been given out.
It's already been sold out. So we're very, very excited.
So tell me about the pain cream. Is that for like an athlete would like that for sore muscles or something?
Yes, we represent about eight of the athletes, the top athletes here at the AVP, and that's one of the things that they use is the pain cream daily. We had other players come by the tent. We had their parents come by the tent. Everybody that came by the tent tried it and came back about 15 minutes later high-fiving us.
Yeah.
So
that's a good thing.
And the pain cream isn't just for athletes. It's definitely designed for athletes, but it works very well with people who are not athletes. I know it works well with with especially older people who have arthritis or other issues with pain and discomfort. It's very effective. Yeah. So we've been really excited about the response and then the response to the cream. And that's just one of the products that we'll be featuring. We have waters coming out later this fall, beverage, CBD relax shots. So we're very excited about as part of this retail rollout and how it's going to help sales and help the business.
Okay, so if somebody can't make it to Chicago, how can they get these products, learn more about them?
So go to our website. Go to www.calibearlife.com and you'll be able to pre-order the products right now, and you'll learn a bit more about the products. And just so the audience is aware, American Premium Water did a joint venture with Calibear. Okay. So it's through American Premium Water that we're doing the distribution. So American Premium Water is doing all the operations, all the distribution, the logistics of everything. Okay. And then those are announcements that we've made publicly in the past. We have a logistics and distribution partner. We have more coming. So we're very, very excited.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks a lot, Jane.
Bye now.